Good morning, restaurant pros. David Scott Peters here. You're here for Shoot the Shit with DSP. I'm DSP. It's STS. It's Friday. It's good to have you here. Looks like technology's not letting me down today. We'll see if it logs out at the end. I have had a string of YouTube live challenges that just drive me crazy. I think I've got all the technology down, but it looks like we are getting our messaging up and right. Good morning, Mary DeLeon. I'm happy for you that it's the last day of school. I hope that your son has a blast. I'm sure it's a half day. It's full of sugar, and you get to have him come home and be bouncing off the walls. We've got Viper X. Gosh darn it. Good morning, big guy. Damn it, damn it, damn it. I said I would remember your name. I said I would remember your name. We had a week go by. Rob? God bless America. Remind me again. I'm going to do my very best. I feel awful, my friend. Another long-term restaurant pro like myself. I want to remember your name, but I just remember Vapor X is the old user handle, so I don't know what the hell to do with myself. Hey, if you guys are joining us, there's a bunch of you that are joining right now. Do me a favor and log into your Google account, your YouTube account, your Google account. They're the same thing, so you can participate in the chat as well. It's Bob. I got to remember, that's right, Bob, because of Bob Newhart. I've got it. I swear. I'm going to do my very best, my friend. I was close, though. I said Rob. Bob. I was close, right? I was close. Give me a little credit. I've got a little something here. Anyway, it is awfully good to have you here, my friend. I appreciate your input, your support, being here. Yep, you just put in there. Yep, just spell it backwards. Yes, sir. That is the Bob Newhart thing. That is our connection. I will do my very best to remember that. I swear to goodness. We're going to get started here in just a second. Again, a reminder, if you're just joining, make sure you log into your account, your Google account or your YouTube account, same thing, so you can participate in the chat, because when I'm done with my portion, we answer your questions. So everything is working right now, so I'm going to make a couple zoom in here and get this going. Let's get this party started. Welcome to Shoot the Shit with DSP. STS with DSP happens every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time, live on YouTube, travel schedule permitting. We're going to invest about 30 minutes out of your day to get pumped about the upcoming weekend, get excited about crushing your goals, and finding the motivation to be the best you possible. Plus, I'll answer your burning questions. I'm David Scott Peters, creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula and your coach. Again, one last call out. Make sure that you are logged into your Google accounts so I can see you on here with your chat. Matt Plapp's in the house. Sup, DSP says. Sup, Matt Plapp. MP in the house. We are good to have you. It was great to have you at the seminar last week. I thought we had a good crowd there, very engaged. I thought your presentation was fantastic. Anybody who was not able to see Matt there, look him up on America's Best Restaurants or mattplapp.com. Either way, you will find your way to America's Best Restaurants and all the marketing, incredible things he has to offer. He's my go-to marketing guy. Let's get started, shall we? Today, we're talking about something most restaurant pros think they understand, but usually don't use consistently enough to actually protect their money. Waste trackers and key item trackers. WT and KIT. Now I know, sexy topic, right? Nothing screams Friday motivation like tracking overcooked bacon, dropped chicken, missing ribeyes, and portion creep. But here's the truth. If you're not tracking waste and key items every single day, you're probably bleeding money you don't even see. And that's the dangerous money, because the money you see, you can react to that. You see bad invoices, you question it. You see labor running high, you start cutting hours. You see sales drop, you start freaking out appropriately. But invisible money, that's the killer. Invisible money disappears quietly. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't kick the door open and say, hey boss, I'm just torching your margin today. It slips out the back door through waste, theft, overportioning, poor prep, poor line discipline, comps, mistakes, staff meals, bad receiving, and what I call close enough culture. And let me tell you something, restaurant pros, close enough is expensive. Close enough on portioning, close enough on waste, close enough on tracking, close enough on accountability, close enough is where profits go to die. So today, I want to show you why waste trackers and key item trackers are two of the simplest tools you can use to expose the real margin killers in your restaurant. Not theory, not corporate nonsense, not some consulting spreadsheet that takes 47 tabs and a blood sacrifice to understand. Simple tools, daily tools, tools your managers can use, tools your line cooks can understand, tools that tell you where your money is leaking before your P&L shows you, like a coroner's report 3 weeks later, because that's what P&Ls often do, right? It tells you what already died. Waste tracker and key item tracker help you catch the bleeding while the patient is still alive. Let's start with waste trackers. A waste tracker is exactly what it sounds like. It's a simple sheet, log, or digital form where your team records food that gets wasted. Not just spoiled food, not just the obvious stuff. I'm talking about food that gets dropped, burned, misfired, over-prepped, sent back, made wrong, expired, spilled, broken, or thrown away because somebody didn't follow a system. And here's where restaurant pros get themselves into trouble. They say, oh, we don't really waste much. Really? How do you know? Because you don't see full trash cans? Because your manager said, it's not that bad? Because your kitchen team is full of angels who portion perfectly, prep perfectly, and never make mistakes? Come on. That's not management. That's wishful thinking in a chef coat. Waste is happening. The question is whether you're measuring it. Because what gets measured gets managed. And what doesn't get measured gets rationalized. You know how this works. A cook burns a chicken breast. They toss it. Nobody writes it down. A prep cook cuts too much lettuce. It wilts. Nobody writes it down. A server rings in the wrong burger. The kitchen makes it. Nobody writes it down. A manager comps a plate because the guest says it's cold. Nobody ties that back to the product cost. A pan of sauce gets tossed because no one labeled it properly. Nobody writes it down. And then at the end of the month, the owner looks at the P&L and says, why is food cost high? Because the restaurant has been whispering the answer every day, but nobody was listening. The waste tracker makes that whispering loud. It turns mystery into data. It shows you patterns, and patterns are where the money is. 1 burned steak is a mistake. 10 burned steaks in a week is a training problem. A tossed pan of soup is annoying. 3 tossed pans because they weren't labeled properly is a systems problem. A wrong order is human. Wrong orders every Friday night is a communication problem, a POS problem, a training problem, or a manager on duty problem. The waste tracker is not about beating people up. Let me be crystal clear on this. If your team thinks the waste tracker exists so you can yell at them, they will lie to you. They will hide waste, they will bury mistakes, they will throw food away like in a spy movie. That defeats the whole point. The waste tracker exists to help restaurant pros get smarter. Look, you want the team to understand this. We are not tracking waste to punish people. We are tracking waste to fix problems, protect profitability, and create a better run restaurant. Now, do you still hold people accountable? Absolutely. I'm not running a daycare for adults with knives. But accountability comes after clarity. First, gather the truth. Then look for the pattern. Then fix the system. Then train. Then hold people accountable to the standard. That order matters because if you skip straight to blame, your team will protect themselves instead of protecting the restaurant. And that is bad leadership. Now, let's talk about key item trackers. Key item trackers, or KIT, is where you track your highest impact products, items you don't want stolen. These are the items that matter the most to your profitability because they're expensive, easy to steal, easy to overportion, easy to waste, or sold in high volumes. Think steaks, chicken breasts. burger patties, ribeyes, seafood, desserts, avocados, bacon, anything expensive, portion sensitive, or commonly abused. The KIT is not a full inventory. That's important. I don't want restaurant pros turning this into a monster. The second you make this complicated, your managers will stop doing it, and then you'll say, the system doesn't work. No, the system works. Your execution got bloated. A key item tracker is focused, only 5 to 15 items a shift. You pick a handful of items and track them every shift. You want to know, how many did we start with? How many did we receive or prep? How many did we sell? How many should be left? How many are actually left? That gap is the story. That gap tells you whether your money is under control or walking out the building wearing an apron. Let's use a simple example. You start the day with 100 burger patties on the line. You stock, prep, 0. You sell 100 burgers. 70 burgers. We had 100 on the line, we sell 70. You record 2 patties on the waste tracker. That means you should have 28 left. But when you count, when the manager goes and actually counts, they're 22. You're missing 6 burger patties. Now, one day might be a counting issue, but if it happens repeatedly, now you have something. Maybe portions are off. Maybe cooks are double patties on each one of the orders by mistake. Maybe staff meals aren't being rung in. Maybe servers are using wrong buttons. Maybe patties are being dropped and not recorded. Maybe someone is stealing. Maybe the recipe card says one thing and the kitchen is doing another. I don't know. I don't know until we track it. That's the whole point. The KIT creates the question. And good questions create profitable answers. Too many restaurant pros are trying to manage food costs from the P&L backwards. That's like trying to steer your car and driving and looking only at the rearview mirror. Useful? Sure. Enough? Not unless you enjoy ditches. Your P&L tells you where you ended up. WT and KIT tell you how you got there. That's the difference. And when you use them together, they are powerful. The waste tracker shows you what your team admits we lost. The key item tracker shows you what the numbers say is missing. Together, they expose both visible and invisible loss. Waste trackers catch what people admit. KIT catches the numbers, what they reveal. That's where the magic happens. Because sometimes your waste tracker looks clean, too clean, suspiciously clean, like nobody wasted anything all week. Congratulations, apparently you're operating a unicorn restaurant staffed by monks, or your team isn't using the tracker. That's why KIT matters. KIT doesn't care about feelings. KIT doesn't care about someone thought they wrote it down. KIT says, we started with 40 salmon portions, sold 26, wasted 1, and somehow we only have 8 left. That means 5 are missing. Find them. Not emotionally, not dramatically, just find them. This is where you start coaching your managers. Your managers need to learn to ask better questions. Not who screwed up. Better question. What explains the variance? Was it counting? Was it prep? Was it portioning? Was it ringing? Was it waste not recorded? Was it theft? Was it a transfer? Was it a special? Was it menu mix issue? When your managers ask better questions, they become operators instead of babysitters. That's the huge shift. Because most restaurant pros don't need more people with keys. They need leaders who understand numbers, systems, and accountability. WT and KIT are manager development tools. Think about that. The waste tracker and the key item tracker are manager development tools. They teach your managers to connect daily behavior with financial outcomes. That's the part I want you to hear. This is not about food costs. This is about leadership. This is about teaching your team that profit is not created in the office. Profit is created in the walk-in, on the line, at the prep table, at the POS, during ordering, during receiving, during the shift, during close. Every single decision either protects margin or attacks it. And when your team doesn't see that, they operate casually. They think a dropped chicken breast is just a dropped chicken breast. They think over-portioning fries is taking care of the guest. They think tossing unlabeled product is just a part of the business. They think staff meals without tracking are no big deal. They think remakes don't count because the guest is happy now. No, it all counts. The guest experience matters. Of course it matters. But the guest experience cannot become the excuse for sloppy operations. That's how independent restaurants get trapped. They care about the guest. They want to be generous. They want to say yes. They want the plate to look abundant. They want staff to feel taken care of. Good. That heart is a part of what makes independent restaurants special. But generosity without controls is financial self-harm. You can be generous and disciplined. You can take care of the guests and track comps. You can feed your team and track staff meals. You can fix mistakes and record waste. You can run a hospitality-driven restaurant without letting your margins get mugged in the alley. That's the goal. Now let's talk about implementation, because this is where restaurant pros make it complicated. You don't need to track everything. Start with a few categories. For your waste tracker, keep it simple. Date, item, quantity, reason, employee or station, manager initials. That's it. Don't write a novel. You're not submitting a thesis to Harvard called The Emotional Journey of a Burned Ribeye. Just capture the data. What was wasted? How much? Why? Where did it happen? Who verified it? For KIT, start with 5 to no more than 15 key items, not 30, 5 to 15. Pick items that are expensive, high volume, frequently wasted, easy to steal, or commonly overportioned. Then track them every shift. Opening counts, received, stocked, or prepped, sold, expected ending count, actual ending count, variance, manager initials. Again, simple. The discipline matters more than the decoration. I don't care if it's on paper, a clipboard, a spreadsheet, a Google form, or carved into stone behind the expo line. Use whatever your team will actually use. A mediocre tool used daily beats a beautiful tool ignored completely, every time. Now, here's the management rhythm. At the end of each shift, the manager reviews the waste tracker. Not 3 days later, not when they get around to it. At the end of the shift, they look for anything unusual. They initial it. They ask questions if needed. At the end of each shift, someone reviews the KIT variance. If there's a variance, they investigate. Again, not emotionally, operationally. Then weekly, you review the patterns. This is where you as the restaurant pro come in. You're not supposed to be chasing every dropped sliced tomato. That's not your highest or best use of your time unless you enjoy micromanaging produce. Your job is to review the patterns. What items keep showing up? What shifts have the highest waste? What stations have the most mistakes? What menu items create the most remakes? What managers have clean trackers? What managers have suspiciously blank trackers? What key items consistently show variance? That's your coaching list. That's your training list. That's your accountability list. That's your Monday action list. And speaking of Monday action, here's what I want you to do. Monday, implement. Not think about it. Not discuss it with the team. Not create a 90-day strategic initiative with a logo and a launch party. Implement. Pick one waste tracker. Pick 5 key items. Train your managers for 15 minutes. Explain why it matters. Explain how it works. Explain that this is not punishment. Then use it daily. For 1 week. That's it. 1 week. You will learn something. I promise you. You may learn your team is wasting more than you thought. You may learn your managers are not inspecting what you think they're inspecting. You may learn that your recipe cards don't match reality. You may learn staff meals are out of control. You may learn your POS buttons are creating confusion. You may learn your line cooks are overportioning because no one ever trained the standard. You may learn you have theft. You may learn your closing counts are garbage. Good. That's not bad news. That's information. Bad news is losing money and not knowing why. Information is power. Information gives you a place to start. Restaurant pros often avoid tracking because they're afraid of what they're going to find. That's backwards. You should be more afraid of what you're not finding because what you don't know is already costing you money. Let me say that again. What you don't know is already costing you money. The system doesn't create the problem. The system reveals the problem. That's why some teams resist it. Because once you track it, the excuses get weaker. Once you count it, the opinions matter less. Once you review it daily, the I didn't know card expires. And that's a good thing. A profitable restaurant is not built on hope. It is built on standards. It is built on systems. It is built on training. It is built on accountability. It is built on managers who know what to inspect. WT and KIT give your managers something specific to inspect. And remember this, your team does not rise to the level of your intention. They rise to the level of your inspection. You can say food cost matters all day long. You can give speeches. You can put posters up. You can tell everyone we need to control waste. Wonderful. But if nobody tracks it, nobody reviews it, and nobody follows up, your team learns the real rule. This doesn't actually matter. Your follow-up teaches the standard. Not your speech, not your memo, not your meeting, your follow-up. So when you implement WT and KIT, don't just launch them, inspect them, ask about them, review them, coach from them, use them in manager meetings, tie them to training, tie them to prep levels, tie them to purchasing, tie them to portion control, tie them to recipe execution. That's how a simple sheet becomes a management system. And that's the point. The sheet is not the system. The behavior around the sheet is the system. That's the part most restaurant pros miss. They download a form and think they solve the problem. Nope. A form sitting on a clipboard is just paper with ambition. The system is when your team uses it, your managers inspect it, and you make decisions from it. That's when it becomes powerful. So here's the challenge for you this weekend. Before Monday, identify your first 5 key items. Write them down. Not 12, not 20, 5. Pick the items that make you nervous. The items where you say, I'm not totally sure what's happening there. That's where you start. Then choose how you'll track waste. Paper is fine. Digital is fine. The format doesn't matter as much as the habit. Then Monday, implement. Tell your team, we're going to start tracking waste and a few key items so we can find out where the leaks are, train better, and protect the business. This is not about punishment. This is about running smarter. Then follow up every day. Not forever in some giant dramatic way, just enough to build the habit. Because when the team sees you actually look at the tracker, they'll take it seriously. When the team sees managers asking questions from it, they'll take it seriously. When the team sees changes happen because of it, they'll take it seriously. And when they see nothing happens, they treat it like every other abandoned initiative that died on a clipboard. Don't do that. You're the leader, lead it. Now, let me bring this home. Waste trackers and key item trackers are not glamorous. They are not trendy. They will not make your restaurant look cool on Instagram, but they will help you protect margin. They will help you train managers. They will help you expose hidden problems. They will help you stop guessing. And guessing is expensive. In this business, every margin killer has a hiding place. Waste hides in the trash cans. Overportioning hides on plates. Theft hides in weak controls. Bad prep hides in the walk-in. Poor training hides behind, that's how we've always done it. WT and KIT turn the lights on. And when the lights come on, you can finally deal with what's been living in the dark. That's how you stop bleeding money you don't even see. All right, restaurant pros, that's what I've got for you today. Your Monday action is simple. Implement 1 waste tracker, 5 key items, daily review, no drama, no overthinking, just action. Now, let's get to your questions. All right, let's see. Let's double check that everything's working. See if you guys have been asking questions. There's about a 15-second delay. I'm going to check on my team here, see if there's anything I need to know about. No, there's nothing I need to go about, so I'm going to you. I've got, looks like Junior's in the house. Good morning to you, my friend. It is good to have you. We've got quite a few of you on here today. So now it is time for your questions. If you got a comment on the waste tracker, key item tracker, put it in the comments if you've been using them with success, without. I often tell people the 2 easiest systems in the world that I teach, and they're the 2 hardest systems in the world to get used on a daily basis because it requires a manager to inspect those systems. So hear me. You can print them off, and I just showed you in 15 minutes you can put it in place. Using it every day, that's the challenge. Making sure it's used every day, that's the challenge. So you got to assign it to an owner, someone's responsible for it, and it's got to have a rhythm. You've got to be checking it every single day or they will go away. But if you do check them every day, you will reduce your food cost. I promise you. On a side note, I think next week is a holiday week, but I'm 99% sure that I have a shoot the shit. I'm just going to double check on you. Yep, we will have a shoot the shit next week. The following week, I will not. So our next shoot the shit is going to be May 29th. There will not be a shoot the shit on June 5th, just as an FYI. Let's see here, go back here. We have any comments, any questions? I've got quite a few here on the line here with our live, but I am not seeing your questions. Have we had enough DSP today? How are we doing on time? We almost went 30 minutes, so that could be it. I promised you we'd go 30 minutes, but I do want to answer any questions you have, and it looks like we have no questions. That's okay. Hopefully today was useful. Hopefully you'll take action. My father had a phrase, said ideas are cheap. It's the people who put them into action that are priceless. Does not matter all the ideas I share with you. Does not matter all the ideas you gain from the internet or anywhere else. If you don't actually put it into action, it's worthless. Another way to put it, do something consistently. Bad systems used every day are priceless. Incredible systems not used are worthless. I'll leave you with that. Go out there, kick some ass. We'll see you next week here live on STS with DSP. Peace, everybody.